This is Luther, and he likes chasing squirrels.
This is Lambo, and Lambo loves playing with her ball.
This is Dixon. Dixon loves to chase rabbits.
This is Hans, and Hans is a fan of his brother and sister back at home, and he's a fan of playing outside and tormenting the neighbor dogs.
This is Buster. He likes to eat food, cuddle, and kiss.
16 years ago, the Sioux Falls Stampede let the dogs out, creating an annual Wiener Dog Night that has become a phenomenon in sport worldwide. One Saturday each season, Wiener Dogs descend on Sioux Falls to race between periods of a hockey game. And with Wiener Dogs come Wiener Dog people, and each with their own unique approach to the race.
The ball, and going slowly when you back up so she can keep her eyes kind of focused on you, so then she'll run.
We're still working on that. Treats, you know.
We decided to race him because we've had several instances at home where he is not catchable, so we think he can win.
As for the hockey guys, they have their own strategies too.
I'd have to go with leg length. If there were measurements out there, that'd probably be the first thing I'd look at. You know, get every inch that you can from your stride. So.
I will take a pretty young dog, I think. Lots of energy.
Names? If it's generic, if it's just like a Bob or like an Eric, no, not going with that. I need like a wild name. I don't know, maybe they have something spicy with them, move a little faster.
Your legs, you know, the bigger ones, they can just keep their momentum going, you know, long legs, they can go faster, so.
Honestly, the bigger ones. Yeah, I feel like it's a generic answer, but they got longer legs, they gotta move faster. Because they all have the quickness. It's just whoever's longer, I guess. Big nose too, why not? Get the extra reach like Pelosi. He'd be a good wiener dog.
Oh yeah, I mean, coming from a guy with a long nose, you can't be doing that to your brothers like that.
While this year, Cuzco did win by a nose. The true winner each year is Dakota Dachshund Rescue, a group changing the lives of both dogs and families in South Dakota.
It's a small rescue group, started 16 years ago. We started out as just a small dachshund rescue, took in dogs from the Humane Society, owner surrenders, from breeders, and put them into foster homes, got them fully vetted before we adopt them out.
Raising more than $10,000 annually, Wiener Dog Night is the crown jewel for this important charity.
So we bring a lot of the dogs for people to meet and apply to adopt them, as well as this is a huge fundraiser for us. Our medical costs are a lot more than what we adopt the dogs out for. So Stampede Wiener Dog Race Night is a huge fundraiser for our medical fund.
2/3 of the way through their season, the Stampede have reached the dog days of the season as well.
I think at this point of the year, we like where we're at. You know, I think to start the season, we want to, the bottom line is in this world, you always want to be playing for something down the stretch. And some years that'll be a championship, and this year it's fighting for the playoffs.
The team finds itself grinding for a playoff spot. A credit to a new attitude this season.
You know, this is practice 90 or whatever it was today, and the guys were great. They had a great attitude. They showed up ready to go, and this is the middle of February right now where it can be the dog days, and I like our competition level.
I mean, our captains do a great job, especially Cole Miller. He gets us going. We like to have a lot of energy as our team. We don't really like to just like sit quiet before the game. We're always making jokes, we're listening to music, singing, we're dancing around, we're just having a good time. So having fun doesn't just start when you're on the ice, it's in the locker room before as well.
Coach Rud hopes this positivity will raise expectations, helping to restore a winning culture to this storied organization.
That's just the expectation every year. Whether you're first, second, third, whatever, you're in the playoffs no matter what. Like that's your attitude to start the year. And it hasn't been that way the last couple of years, so obviously to get in this year would be nice for our returning guys to know what that feels like and know what it takes over 62 games to put yourself in a position there.
Winning is something the Fighting Wiener Dogs know a little bit about, as the Stampede boasts an .800 winning percentage overall on Wiener Dog Night, and are undefeated when playing as the Fighting Wiener Dogs. The players know there's just something about having that dog in you.
Feel it as soon as you put it on. Walking into the locker room, seeing their jerseys hanging up, seeing them for most likely the first time, I mean, it was unreal. Like, it just shocks you.
I hadn't heard of like a Rebrand night before, and like the Fighting Wiener Dogs, like that's hilarious.
I mean, even the returners, they were saying like on Wiener Dog Night, like right when you put that jersey on, you just find a different gear. Your legs don't get tired, you never make the wrong play. It's like, you're just going, you're locked in, you're ready to win.
Wiener Dog Night is a celebration, and tonight, it's also a time to recognize a mainstay of the Stampede, Jim Olander.
Not many team presidents that are on the bus with you, grinding it out and getting home at 4 in the morning and then turn around the next day and have to call a game again and get the whole thing set up. So it's been impressive what he's done for this organization.
For 20 years, Jimmy O has been the voice of the Stampede. And while his "Yeah Baby" goal call is woven into the fabric of South Dakota hockey, Olander's commitment runs deep as team president and the original inventor of Wiener Dog Night.
He brings passion every night with it. He's a team president, and he's also our biggest fan. I mean, you can tell. When we lose, it hurts him. And not just because he's the president and that. It hurts because he's also a fan, which I think to be involved with an organization like this for 20 years, you have to be a fan of the product. You have to care, and you have to love being around it on a day-to-day basis.
The Stampede's Wiener Dog Night is a tradition everyone in Sioux Falls has circled on their calendars each year. In fact, the only people who haven't seen a Wiener Dog race are probably the players themselves.
We're sitting in there after the first and second period, just like kind of like getting ready to go again. We're just hearing the stadium erupted, like even louder than when we score. The dogs are obviously bringing a big crowd. So. There's so many.
You wouldn't think those little things would be that fast, would you?
Who's the winner? I can't tell.
No way. That's hilarious.
While the boys might miss the action between periods, they know playing a sold-out Wiener Dog Night in the Denny is an experience like no other.
Never played in front of a crowd nearly that big, so just getting out there, you're looking up, you're kind of a little nervous, but you're excited. And then we got the first goal, and I was on the ice for it, and it was just loud. It was insane, and I actually scored the second goal, and I didn't even like listen. I was just kind of like, wow, that just happened. I saw like everyone waving their thing. It was insane.
I think the cool thing about Wiener Dog Night for our guys is we have a bunch of guys that have never played in front of a crowd that big. There's a little bit of a learning curve that way. I mean, guys are used to the building, but the energy in the building that night was special.
You know, celebrating on the ice, like when we do our stick taps at the end, we couldn't even hear our sticks tapping. It was just super loud in there. It was unreal.
10,000. I've never played in anywhere close to that before. I mean, they were crazy all night, and it was awesome just having all that support and all that noise.
As soon as we come out of that tunnel, you know, the energy just comes, the adrenaline just comes. You're just ready to play right away.
For the 16th annual Wiener Dog Night presented by Sioux Nation Pet Clinic, the Fighting Wiener Dogs squared off against the Des Moines Buccaneers. Forward Noah Anderson took his duties as a Fighting Wiener Dog to heart, dropping the gloves for the first time in his career.
I wouldn't call myself a fighter maybe. That was my first fight. The guy dropped them with me, and I just stood up, and he wanted to dance, so I just tried to hit him as hard as I could and just try to win the fight. That was about it. It was a good fight.
After a slow start, the Fighting Wiener Dogs roared back to tie the game behind goals from Isaac Gordon and Nick Ring.
Tuck it in, shot save, rebound, scores! Nick Ring puts it home! Fire tip, scores! Isaac Gordon!
Regulation ended with the score tied 2-2. Forward Evan Moore needed just 27 seconds of overtime to show he too was a dog on a bone.
Over to Murray, Murray shoots, he scores! Dogs win! Dogs win!
Ringer and Sammy, they both did a good job bringing their two defenders towards them so I could have a lot of time when I got the puck, and then yeah, I did kind of close my eyes and I like hesitated. I didn't know what to do, and then I remembered I had to do a cool celebration or whatever in front of so many people. Otherwise, the guys would give me a hard time.
Murr showed a lot of patience on that, because I know I would have just got it shot as fast as I could have just in that environment. He got it, had a little bit of poise, pulled it in and snapped it home, and then it was so much fun to watch the crowd go bananas, and I'm sure Jimmy O up there almost had a heart attack screaming that, yeah, baby.
I saw something on Instagram where some guy was doing something like that, and then my roommate came and grabbed me, so I didn't know where I was going after that.
Yes, there's nothing quite like Wiener Dog Night in Sioux Falls. If you haven't been, what are you waiting for?
Come watch, it's hilarious.
Oh man, you're in for a treat. These guys are hilarious. They have the personality of like a Great Dane stuffed into a little tiny body.
You're missing out. You gotta do it. It's so much fun, and watching little wieners on ice. We love it.